Assalamualaikum and good day. I be Dr. Fauzia. Before we go into the presentation, I will be presenting and introducing all of my teammates. First, my name is Muhamad Irfan bin Hafiz Sayuti with entry number CB200161 as a project manager. Next, Nurain Alia binti Zaharudin with matrix number CB20164 as a system analyst. Then we have Farra Alia binti Rosli CB20167 as a system designer. Next, we have Chu Yang with matrix number CB20172 as a programmer. Then we have Muhammad Alif Aiman Abdulsalam with matrix number CB20165 as a tester. And lastly, we have Muhammad Abdulsalam Mohammed with matrix number CA17193 as a quality manager.
So now we want to present about Ikea Malaysia online store case study, quality home furniture and decoration.
It also provides several types of product purchase method, whether they go to the Ikea physical store or visit the Ikea online store, and it also various function, browse product, payment and extra.
The objective of the portal is to provide the unique customer experience and then provide the interaction between system and the customer and then boost the sales of the Ikea. The info service that is provided by the Ikea is serving design of room, online planning tools, selling varieties of product for ordering and home insurance.
I'm going to talk about the expectation of the portal. The expectation of this server in Ikea is that to give the customer if something happened to their product, that immediately change the product to the customer to a new one. Also for the expectation of the software engineering environment and the portal, human now is live in an area where the technology is everywhere. The technology is very important to help people to communicate and buy things online.
For the question 4 in part 1, the chosen similar website is Furniture Direct website. Furniture Direct and Ikea Malaysia stores apply the same concept. First, both websites focuses on selling furniture and an e-commerce system. Second, they have the same type of requirements that an e-commerce system has, such as add to cart, discounts and promotions.
Next, Furniture Direct and Ikea Malaysia online store share the same target users. This is because people who want to purchase furniture for their home without having them visit the premises. This is because today's people are so busy managing their hectic life routine. Consistency is one of the important principles that is used in Ikea Malaysia Online Store. It can be seen in the figure number 2, where Ikea Malaysia Online Store maintain the consistency of the menu boxes and also the button. So it is easy to differentiate which is the button and which is not compared to figure 1 above.
User diversity focuses on the abilities or features that the system provides to the different types of users. In the Ikea Malaysia Online Store, user diversity has been implemented in the functions of providing user to choose and change the domain and the language of the system, the proper usage of fonts such as the size and color, and also the several ways of convey a message such as usage of symbols, colors, and text.
Next is user guidance. User guidance is a structured instructional material given to help direct a user interaction with a computer, including the error message, warning, prompt, and label. The interface should provide meaningful feedback when error occur and provide context-sensitive user help facilities. This IKEA website also has the user guidance in the checkout page and payment page.
Another user interface design principle is user familiarity. The IKEA website system provides a familiar website design and using the existing design pattern. This is important because it will benefit the IKEA website system. This is the example of browsing product page of IKEA website. It using the simple design and using the familiar design.
User interface design is the concern with the producing with the user may want and ensuring that interface has accepted that are the simple to use. IKEA is the one of the website that use the user interface well, so the recovery can proceed in one of two directions, which forward or backward.
Next, the user interface design principle is minimal surprise. So the website contains the navigation bar which is clear and the user can know what is happen next, so it's not surprising the user.
There are two possible risks. First, IKEA Malaysia Online Store is a big website where having an organization risk is risky, where one's management might pressure the development team to deliver their project as fast as possible without considering the team's capability and lead to project failure. Second, people is also risk as finding a highly skilled person is very tough and costly, and fail to protect it may lead to a project failure. So as a project manager, considering team's welfare and skill is important in ensuring project successness.
The first risk is the requirement risk. There will be time that change of the requirements of the system requested by clients happens. Sometimes these changes done were not properly documented and tester might overlook any details or parts to be tested. The probability to risk may be moderate, but the effects can be serious. In order to manage the risk, tester can use testing tool and must get the traceability information to assess the impact of the requirements change. The next risk is the estimation risk with high probability and serious effects. Testing process is not an easy task because Ikea Malaysia online store is a huge website which consumes time and efforts. To reduce the risk, tester might do a research of proper tools for certain tasks to ease the process, and also request help from other testers can be a good addition.
The possible risk for system analyst is risk requirement and estimation. Risk requirement where it need to meet the client for an interview session to get the system requirement. The strategies to overcome it is derive traceability information. The next possible risk is estimation risk. It related to estimation target date, estimation budget allocation. The strategy is consult with the client.
The possible risk type for a system designer is requirement risk, which including in the requirement identification process. It may be a waste of time because it may involve changes during designing process. Another possible risk type for a system designer is tool risk, which is the tool's integration in the designing process. The strategies of both risk, which is the requirement risk, is to identify and tracking changes during the design process. And for tool risk, the designer needs to familiar and learn a variety types of design process.
The manager is the primary responsible to the ensure that the high quality product and the service are delivered and commented to Ikea organization by the ensuring that the requirement and the expectation of the public and surpassed.
Next, as a programmer for IKEA, the risk type that I identify is the technology and tools. For the technology, there is the risk from the aspect of database and also the network security. So for the tools, there is risk of us from the aspect of outdated tools and also the code generators.
As a project manager to IKEA Malaysia Online Store, one of the benefits of the user involvement in the testing phase is the project manager can get direct and clear feedback straight from the client itself, so that it can prevent from any kind of misinformation, so that the project can be developed without having any dissatisfaction from the clients. Next, allowing the project manager to do the negotiation process if anything happens with the website by using the privilege of project manager, which reducing the cost and extend the deployment time. Besides, the disadvantages of having user in testing phase is sudden requested major changes, which is makes the requirement list of SRS affected and burden the project manager by having them to reconstruct from certain major part of the project.
First benefit is easier for the tester to prepare a proper and detailed documentation of the IKEA Malaysia online store for the programmer every time testing is done, as they can give feedback and any recommendation to improve the system. Next is the testing process can be reduced since every testing done is properly done with comprehensive output and feedback from the involved users to ensure that the system can be released without much maintenance later on, because all the flaws or verifications have been done in the early stage.
Two benefits for validation and verification are rapidly obtain the user feedback and cost reduction. Meanwhile, the disadvantage for validation and verification is lot of changes happen during the development process.
The user involvement, there is a benefit of user involvement in testing process, which is collect feedback directly from user. The designer will make useful improvement and the data of testing will not be distorted by others. The client also will voice opinions more clearly and easily. Next is the disadvantage of validation and verification for user involvement is user demand for changes. First is the development time and cost will increase, and the designer team will have a lot of work to do.
Next is the testing process with involved for the user in the interface. So as a programmer, we can respond quickly and minimize the error rate at the end of the project. And also we can collect the analyze the testing result immediately so that we can make the change more quickly.
Testing is the method that ensure that in the software protect in the order and free of the error. As a quality manager, the need to develop the team and try to fix the error and defeat and try to keep the system safe in IKEA Malaysia.
Possible maintaining cost factors of IKEA website is team stability and staff skills. First, team stability is really needed is frequent changing can burden the project manager to search the person who have the competent skill in continuing the project. Plus, it may cost a lot. Next, staff skills also determine the system maintenance cost, as a low-skilled person have the possibilities to make mistakes in the maintenance process, where it may consume more cost to fix the mistakes, especially to a complex website like IKEA. So maintaining a skillful person in a team is hard for a project manager, as people might change their workplace to get better pay.
The first factor is staff skills. Skills in a software team are very crucial because insufficient skills, including testers in testing phase, can lead to the undesired results and might cost more. In testing scope, testers can enhance and practice their testing skills or join a workshop. Next factor is the programmation structure. As changes are made to the system, it tends to lead to a degradation, including Ikea Malaysia or install. Degradation will contribute to the increasing of the maintenance cost of the system, and testers play an important role in this situation. In every maintenance, the system needs to be tested first before letting the public use them. Testers need to take part in the maintenance too, since they also know the intricacy of the system by giving suggestions and help to detect the possible cause or parts of the system where it happens to ease the maintenance process and reduce the cost.
For the maintenance cost, I choose team stability and program age and structure. It is because the IKEA's website system will be modified by the other team. They didn't know where the code that needs to be modified is located. The second factor is program age and structure. This is because it needs to modify the old system requirements specification and update to the new system requirements specification.
The maintenance cost for system designer is team stability. It is the allocation of tasks among all team members. Because of the system designing process requires a complex work due to the various branches in the system design requirement. In terms of work distribution, the stability of each team members is essential. Next is age structure program. Because of the increasingly advanced work, technologies will change and upgrade on a daily basis. System aging has a significant potential of causing system failure. There are many things to adapt and adjustment, including the structure of the system.
Next is the factors influence maintenance cost factors. So first one is the contractor responsibility, means there will no contractor responsibility for the project and hence there will no maintenance provider. If the maintenance is needed, then they will need to increase the budget. Then for the program age and structure, means the system is using an old programming language and it's hard to obtain and it needs a high cost.
Maintenance of the software is part of the life cycle software development. Its main goal to change, updating, and correct the problem affect the software has been delivered, as well as to improve the performance of the system.
The verification and validation technique that is suitable for IKEA is unit testing and it is classified in dynamic. Will give a benefit to the project manager where the project will not have to deal with the clients or the mistakes that happen on the website development. As unit testing is where all the component is tested in isolate way. Plus, unit testing method can help the project manager to minimize the cost of the project, plus be able to reduce the time of deployment as detecting bugs in the early stage will avoid dissatisfaction from the clients that can lead to further process of improvement and fixing from time to time, which costs a lot of time and time consuming.
System testing is a testing of multiple and separate components developed by developers that are integrated to create a whole complete system to check such as the interaction between components and their behavior. Testers are in charge of this approach and they have to do the checking if there are any faults or defects in the integrated IKEA Malaysia online store website during the system testing. System testing is a dynamic V&V approach because it concerns of the executing the system and validates the outputs of the system and focuses on the observation of the behavior of the system after integration.
Type of validation and verification that I choose is dynamic testing. Dynamic testing is a software testing approach that makes use of the analyzed code dynamic behavior. So one of the suitable technique is the user testing where the system analyst will interact more with the end user. It also will conduct the user acceptance test session.
The type of verification and validation for system designer is user testing. User testing have a greater interaction with the system's users. For example, user acceptance testing UAT may be used to conduct the user testing, in which the user is the one who validates the system design. Next is user testing will be categorized as a static testing. This is due to the fact that the system design will be tested without the usage of the code execution.
Next, as a programmer, the validation and verification method that I use is the unit testing. So I will basically test the functionality for the project first before proceed to the other part of the system. So it's easier to match into the system because it's carried out under the isolated condition, and the unit testing is also good to spot the errors and bugs.
Verification and validation and the IKEA Malaysia online store, we should design a system that software meets at aim without any flaws or the gap. It's a simple definition of the software verification.
For the question 5 in part 2, the first Lemons Law is a continuing change. It is a process of making changes to the system continuously. It is a must for a system to evolve and be up to date. Neglecting it will give undesired results such as outdated integration or application with the latest technologies or functions, which make customers to lose interest in the system and make the system become a legacy system in the future.
The next law is increasing complexity. Complexity happens in a system because of the evolution process, especially on legacy system. This is because coding structure becomes more complex to be updated and maintained. So it consumes cost, time, and in need of highly skilled person, especially a big website like IKEA Malaysia online store.
Okay, next Lemon's Law is conservation of familiarity, which is for IKEA website system dynamic testing. System that adds some new functionality regularly will be one of the causes of future system failures. The more features added to each release, the more glitches can appear in the system.
Each release content changes, addition, deletion has a relatively constant incremental change over the lifetime of a system.
The next lemon law is continuous growth. So for the system, we constantly increase the functionality of the system and then maintain and improve the system so that we can fulfill the user's satisfaction.
According to the Aiman function, the concept of the Ikea Malaysia online program must be constantly increased so that we could maintain the user satisfaction throughout the lifespan.
Possible system problem that may happen in Ikea Malaysia online store is server down because of cyber hacking. Due to the reason when the security system is not updated, as it is hard to do the maintenance, which relates to the factors that influence the software reliability, which is the size and complexity of the website. The consequences are the website will experience slow page load and lead to server crash because ransomware is installed by the hackers. So it will consume a lot of cost and time to fix the problem.
Ikea Malaysia online store is a sophisticated system. There will be a huge involvement of data transfer and storing, which will likely to cause an overloaded or failed database in the future. Maintenance or staff carelessness can be one of the reasons that may cause the failure of the database. This will later result in a failure of storing data and also the loss of memory or data in database, plus performance reduction. To prevent the problem, the team can buy or upgrade the database that supports for data transfer and storage.
Another possible system problems is database failure. It may be related to the hardware. Memory errors, disk crashes, faulty disk sectors, and diskful errors are all examples of hardware problems. The database failure able to drop reliability for some software system, which attributes to the design flaws, insufficient quality control during manufacture, overloading, and etc.
The prediction for future problem for this website is data redundant. One of the issues that may arise in the future with the Ikea online system is the possibility of inaccuracy in the output provided by the system. This happens because of the several reasons. The first one is huge of code. Second, database overload. Third, lack of testing. Fourth, overload for software specification.
Next, the possible of the system problem is the heavy load of system. It's because the size of the system is big and it's a complex system, and for the majority content is images that will make the user to load more slowly and need the good hardware to support for the loading.
System traffic overload. In the Ikea Malaysia online, we decided to accommodate a large number of the visitors. If your system receives a huge amount of the traffic in the short period of time, your server may get overloaded.
Part 3, question 4a. The comment for IKEA website is, first is 3D simulation. 3D simulation in IKEA save time and ease the process of customization, while furniture direct need to be done manually using email or contact the seller that may cause miscommunication. By that, IKEA offers one-way process of doing furniture customization because customers just need to pick and pay.
Next is the implementation of tracking system in Ikea Malaysia online store. It helps customers to know what is happening to their order, plus giving an estimation time on when the order will be arrived, while Furniture Direct does not have the feature in the website. This will make Ikea Malaysia online store will be much more efficient and convenient for the customer compared to the Furniture Direct.
Next is the future enhancement of the website, which is the website functionality can be improved by adding on the live chat service and also improve on the navigation bar to let it become a simple and clear.
Next suggestion for future enhancements for IKEA website system is website style in GUI, which is graphical user interface. Providing the greatest graphical user interface of the website is essential since it may affect the company's credibility. Customers will be most impressed by the website's visual appeal.
First, provide the simplest step in the website user experience. Second, provide an orderly design of the website page for user familiarity.